My name is Ken Zimmerman, and I currently serve as the Associate Program Director of Educational Technology and Innovation at Lancaster-Lebanon IU13. I am very actively involved in PASCL, the Pennsylvania Student-Centered Learning Community of Practice. So we kind of pull that together, PASCL, to actually call it PASCL. And what I would like to do is just give you a little bit of an introduction to student-centered learning under the PASCL umbrella, and to be able to explain the journey that the state has been on since 2021 in really developing this new community of practice that's thriving so much today. So to get started, I think that it's important to realize that coming out of COVID, the state was working in multiple PA Smart projects. And one of the PA Smart projects during the status of COVID, or the state of COVID, was what was called the distance learning project. And this was an effort to be able to provide online content for school districts all across the state, free of charge, for them to be able to have access to. They weren't in school when they were in school and out of school and cohorting, and they needed some digital content to be able to use. So when COVID started coming to an end and all students started returning back to school, one of the things that the states took a look at was this distance learning project, and saying that we learned a lot through COVID, and one of the things that we learned is words matter. And when you would say hybrid before COVID, that meant a little bit of mixture of some in-school and some online work while you were still in school, that blend. During COVID, we learned hybrid as some in school and some out of school, and then this hybrid concurrent and these flex terms. So we started looking across the state and realized that under the branch of personalized learning, online learning, distance learning, blended learning, and student-centered learning, we were starting to really realize that people had different definitions for these things. So 2021 to 2022, we formed a committee across the state that was mixed of people from IUs, people from districts, and also people from PDE that came together and said, let's start unpacking these definitions and create real definitions that in the state of Pennsylvania, when we're talking about online learning, this is what we're talking about. When we're talking about personalized learning, when we're talking about any of those blended learning experiences under student-centered learning, what is this? So this committee's task was to develop definitions for the Commonwealth that we would say, understanding what those are, and you'll have an opportunity to be able to read through what those are. But one of the things we grappled with is, do we call it personalized learning or student-centered learning? We ended up with student-centered learning, understanding that student-centered learning is really the umbrella of different learning environments that occur under student-centered learning. That might be online learning or distance learning. It might be forms of blended learning, whether station, flip, flex, whatever the type of learnings that might take place. And it might also be forms of personalized learning, to be able to move from the blend to the real personalization. Understanding these are all components of a student-centered learning focused classroom. We finalized all of these definitions in 22-23, and then we started capturing stories so that we could begin sharing all the pockets of innovation that are taking across the state at that time. And starting in 2023 and 2024, we were able to start branding PASCL. At that time, we became the official PA Smart project of the Pennsylvania Student-Centered Learning. We were able to publish definitions, we published the stories that you'll be able to get a chance to be able to take a look at, and we also decided that we were going to have a statewide network that needed to be formed so that we could bring districts together to share those stories, to share the reactions to the stories, and also to have an opportunity to learn more from one another about how they came to that learning environment, how they came to select that particular learning environment, and how they're sustaining that learning environment moving forward. So our statewide community was born that meets on a quarterly basis now and really focuses in on the different components of student-centered learning.